So if you're looking at this, you're registered for a geology lecture and most probably a geology lab. So first, when you access Blackboard, make sure that you notice that you do have both the lecture and the lab section. So here's an example. Don't worry if this is not your exact number, but here we have a lecture section and here we have a lab section. Again, notice these are two separate courses and they will each have their own separate assignments. You will receive two separate grades, okay? They're not going to mix. They don't come together at any point, so make sure that you're looking and working with each of the assignments in both lecture and lab. So let's take a quick tour of what the lecture section looks like. So again, this is your 1301. Or 1302, the format is the same, so it'll be the same video. So first, make sure to start with class information. This is where you're going to get all, everything that you need to get started, including deadlines, the textbook, my contact information, so on and so forth. Okay, so we're going to go into this folder. So anytime you see a folder like this, it means that you have separate things to look at in there. So make sure that you access whenever you see a folder. So the first thing is going to be kind of your written instructions, kind of like what I'm going through right now in the video, but it's also good for you to keep handy, so maybe print it out and have it with you so that you know exactly what's expected of you. And okay, so here it is. Again, print and read syllabus and calendar, which are actually right under this file, and we will take a look at those in a second. Second, that you will need to use a code to access the assignments for this class. So you can buy it through the link that is provided, and I'll show you where that is in a second. It could have come with your book if you bought it as a bundle at the bookstore. And again, this book is used at Rio Grande and Mission. The other bookstores may have different books. So you can also buy it again online through the link. The code can be bought separately from the textbook, so if you have an older edition of the textbook, you can also get the code separately. And regardless of where you get the textbook or the code, you also have a 2-week free trial to get started. So if you're waiting on money, if whatever the reason, there's no reason to get behind on your assignments. You can get the 2-week free trial of the code, which actually also gives you access to the ebook until you figure out what it is that you want to do in terms of purchasing the textbook and the code. Okay, you will need to register the code once you buy it or you get the 2-week free trial to link the Blackboard course into your Pearson. You will have to do this through Blackboard the very first time so that that link occurs. Again, I'll show you that in a second. So if you are not familiar with Blackboard, of course, please make sure and watch. They have all kinds of tutorials. Just take time to familiarize yourself with the links. Not all classes look exactly the same because each of the professors might need different things, different tools available. So make sure that you get familiar with my particular format, please. If you need to call me, you can use the Blackboard message tool, which is right on your home page. And again, I'll show you that in a second. You can also text me or call me. I do give you my personal cell phone. I know that people work at all kinds of different times, so it's okay to call in the afternoons. It's okay to call on the weekends. Text or call, especially when you need something urgently. If you need an immediate answer, I always have my phone with me, but I'm not on Blackboard all the time. So if you need a quick answer, if it's an emergency, something with your test or whatever it is, feel free to text me or call me. Let's see, all the deadlines are given in the calendar PDF, so please do not rely on Blackboard tasks or anything like that to appear on your regular page, because especially since we work outside of Blackboard with Pearson, those assignments don't appear there. So it's very easy to miss something if you're just relying on Blackboard. Your official calendar is the calendar that I gave you, which is a PDF which you can print out and you can have with you at all times. So please make sure to always check on that. So there's no excuse for missing anything. Don't tell me it didn't show up or anything. It's in your calendar, and if you don't see it, then you need to let me know so I can guide you on where to find it. All assignments are pretty much due Sundays at 10 o'clock. After that time, regardless of when you started, it's going to close on you. So make sure that you give yourself plenty of time to work on assignments. Most of them take quite a bit, especially the lab ones. It's going to take you, just like if we were in class, a few hours a week to work through those assignments. So if you barely open it at 9:30 at night when they're due, let me just tell you right now, that's not going to be enough time. So just like in a face-to-face class, you need to give yourself enough time to work through assignments, 4 to 5 hours a week, sometimes even more, for homework and prep time and all of that. So make sure that you have that time to allot to the class. And if you have a busy schedule that is not going to allow for that, then maybe you don't need to be registered for this class at this particular point in time. Okay, so instructions, which I'm reading to you and going through with you right now. Make sure that you take the time to go through these carefully. It's always a good idea to keep a copy of your work, of your grades. If you ever have a question or you think something's wrong, it's kind of like your receipt, because you need to show me what it is that you mean. So it's always a good idea. Most phones have cameras now, so you can take a picture with your phone. You can take a screenshot, figure out how to do that with your particular computer. Whatever's easier for you. I don't need you to send me anything until, only if you have an issue with the grade or something that's showing. Other than that, you should always keep that for your own personal record. But again, if either you ever see a discrepancy or if you ever want to, ask me about a grade, I do need a screenshot as proof of your work, please. All formats for assignments are usually PDF or documents, Word document, because that's what Blackboard can read. So please make sure that you're saving and uploading in that particular format so that I can actually open it on my side. Okay. Let's see. At the end of each unit, and I'll show you that on the calendar, we have an exam. So about every 4 weeks, we have a unit exam that covers all the chapters. And that's a big part of your average for class, so make sure that you do that. And this one is the most important. Make sure that, again, you don't wait till the last minute, because there's always things that can come up. Your internet might fail, your computer might fail, Blackboard might fail, Pearson might have an issue. All those things take time to fix, and it's not an immediate fix. So if you decided to wait till the last minute, then you're deciding to take that chance, and I'm not going to reopen it because you decided to wait until the last day, even though you usually have a whole week to work on assignments. Okay, so make sure that you read through that a little bit more carefully on your own time. Here's the syllabus that has the textbook information. So let's wait for that to open it. And again, there's different options for the textbook. There's an actual hardcover. There's the ebook. There's the what else? I guess those are the two that we have. In any case, here's my cell number, which you can call. You can also do Blackboard message, or my office is located at Rio Grande, so we can do virtual through Blackboard Collaborate. If you want to see me or show me something, we can set up a time for you to visit as well. So just a little description of what the course is going to cover. So there's that. The evaluations. So again, we have exams. We have weekly quizzes. So for each chapter that we cover, you're going to have a quiz, and you're also going to have a mastering, which is a Pearson side of the equation. So for each chapter, one quiz, one mastering assignment. For each one of these, notice that I automatically drop the lowest grade. So actually, when you start to see your average in my grades in Blackboard, the lowest grade has already been dropped. So if you didn't work on one for whatever reason, if you missed one, if you have a low grade for any of these, the lowest one is dropped automatically. Okay, so you don't, if you only miss one, then it's okay. You don't need to let me know why. Obviously, if you're missing more than one, then that's going to become a problem, and again, that's going to hurt your grade at the end. For the exams, I drop one if and only if you take the final. So if you do miss an exam, or again it's a low grade, then the makeup is pretty much the final exam. Okay, there are no makeups during the regular time, just because I have a lot of students, a lot of classes, and it gets very messy. So if you miss one, then you just take the final to replace that. Okay. If you know you're going out of town or that you won't have access, you can take an exam before the scheduled time. So you can do that, but you do need to let me know at least 2 days before, ahead of time, if you already have something scheduled. And I can open it for you early, but I won't open it for you afterwards if you miss the exam. It's important that you always check your grades. They're always shown in the My Grades tab in your main class page. So again, you're checking that your grades are correct. You're checking your average in class. Every time something gets graded, your average gets updated. So you know exactly how you're doing every week of along the semester. So you shouldn't be surprised whatever your grade is. You know exactly what it is all the time. All right, so make sure that you're checking on those. Just a little note, mastering grades take up to an hour to update. So once you finish your Pearson, just give it a little bit of time to send those grades over to Blackboard. It sends it as you're working through it, so it sends them a few points at a time. So just give it up to an hour or so, and then all your points will be showing on the Blackboard side as well. So there's the missed exam. So here's the textbook. Again, you can use older editions. We're in the 12th edition right now, but you can get the 11th, and that should be fine. You can also buy the code separately, as I mentioned. So if you have an older edition of the book, then that's fine. You just need to purchase the code for the 12th edition. Another thing, if you're taking the second geology, the code is actually good for 2 years. So you can save the email, the confirmation email, or the card that came with your textbook, and you will use the exact same code for the next semester, okay, for the next geology class. The code is good for both the lecture and the lab, so you don't have to purchase it twice. You will enter it twice, one through the lecture and one through the lab, but you will be able to use the exact same code. Okay, let's see, if you're interested in doing an honors project, that pretty much entails doing a little bit of field work, research, a research paper, and a presentation, whether it's in a video, or we can talk about that if you are interested. There is a deadline to apply for honors. It's usually, I believe, the 5th or 6th week of classes. So contact the honors office if you are interested in doing that, and get the paperwork started, and then you and I can talk about a specific project. When we start doing minerals and rocks, samples are located at the Rio Grande Library. The library, sorry. And so I would strongly encourage you to go and take a look at those. If you're in the area, you just have to go and ask for the mineral or the rock kits. You can't take them out of the library, but it's a good idea to be looking at them as we go through the material. Obviously, make sure that you're turning in your own work with your own words. Blackboard does have the capability of showing how much of your paper was copied paste from somewhere else. You won't get any credit for work that is plagiarized. Of course, you can, you do research and get a little bit from here, a little bit from there, but it still has to be in your own words. There's extra credit opportunities with each of the exams. So here they're described in the calendar. It'll show you which of these is turned in with which exam, and it's pretty much in this order. Okay, they don't take a lot of time to do, and they do help out a lot at the end, since they go directly into your exam average. So I would strongly recommend that you take advantage of these with each of the exams. Let's see, okay, so that's that. If you think you have a disability and require special accommodations, please contact the disability office, and they will send me your particular accommodations. Okay, so let's go back to the class. So here is the calendar. All right. And again, this shows you exactly week by week what we're working on. So for this particular class, for example, notice we have these 2 chapters in this week. So weeks start on a Monday and they finish on a Sunday. You have all week to work on your particular chapters. This tells you what chapters. And then at the end of each unit, as I mentioned, you have an exam. Exams open on Friday through Sunday of this particular week for which they are scheduled. So this material is scheduled from the 23rd to the 29th. So the exam, for example, would be open 27th, 28th, and 29th, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. With exam 1, you have the option to do the video summary, which was described in your syllabus. Okay, So 1 unit, 1 exam. Now for each of these chapters, then again, you will have associated with it a Pearson assignment and also a quiz. The Pearson assignment is done through Blackboard, and then, well, it's linked through Blackboard. You can do it through Pearson or through Blackboard, and the quiz is located in the Unit 1 folder, and I'll show you what that is right now. Let's see. Final is scheduled Monday through Friday. Okay, now again, all assignments, whether they open on a Monday like these or on a Friday like this one, they're always going to be due and they're always going to close automatically Sunday at 10 o'clock Mountain Time. Okay, so if you're in another time zone, just take that into consideration. Okay, it automatically closes regardless of what time you open it. Okay, so here's just where you can go to get the e-textbook or the 2-week trial if you want to. That's one of the options. Now, if we come back to course materials, which is the main page where you will access everything. Remember, all of this was the information. Okay, here we go. So here's more instructions on Pearson. So make sure to read through those. So once you get the code, if it came with your book or if you bought it directly through Pearson, then you will need to register it through this particular link. Okay, that first link has to occur through Blackboard so that the class synchronizes. If you do that, then it won't ask you for a course ID. I do not have a course ID, okay? It has to be done through Blackboard so that it links it automatically. So you will link through that, and that's where you will actually access. Once you create a Pearson username and password, and once you put in your code, then that's exactly where you will access your Pearson assignments. Once you create the link, you can actually access it through either Pearson or Blackboard. So on those times when Blackboard is down for whatever reason, you can still access your Pearson assignments through Pearson directly. So this is more or less what your page is going to look like. Notice here you do have the e-text. So again, regardless of what option you took, the e-text is always here with you. You have the calendar that tells you when things are due. Okay, so notice some of these are unavailable. So if you want to see the whole assignment, then you can just go to the link that shows you all of the assignments. And again, it tells you when they're available and when they're due. Okay, so you will click on that and again go through each of those assignments. So that's your Pearson stuff. To talk to other classmates, which is always a good idea. Sometimes you might have similar questions that another student can answer, or if you're, concerns, whatever it is, you can access it through here. And this is just kind of like a chat room for you to talk with your classmates. I do check this periodically, but this is really a student-based chat room. So if you need to contact me directly, then you can just do it either through Cell, as I mentioned, or through course messages, which is right here. You can send something out to me directly. Okay, make sure you don't message the whole class. You can do that in that chat, in that forum. So you just pick my name and you do it through course messages. Okay, and so here's the Unit 1. So remember, just like we had in our calendar, so let me quickly toggle to the calendar, it corresponds to this Unit 1. So again, within the Unit 1, we have 3 chapters, 1, 3, and 4. And then here we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so notice this is where you will find your quizzes. You will access your mastering through here, so that means that you need to go through Pearson and through Blackboard to access your weekly assignments. So once you go into the unit folder, the first week we were scheduled to do these 2. So this is what's available right now. So you have the notes. So these are your notes. You have a PDF. They're only available for the week that they're scheduled. So make sure that if you want to keep a copy of these notes, which you should for your exam, then you need to download this. Okay, it won't be available after the week for which it's scheduled. So here's a PDF, here's a quiz. The quiz you should of course take after you read the notes and you read the textbook. It has a 1-hour limit. Notice that although you can resume it if you close it, the timer will continue to run. So that means that if you have to close it because there was a problem with your internet, you need to resume it right away. Okay, when you close it, the timer keeps running. So you have 1 hour from the time that you open it, and this is true for the exams as well. That's why they're timed. From the time that you open it, you have 1 hour to take the quiz. This one you can take twice, and it will always keep the highest of the two grades. So whatever your grades are, whether the first one or the second was the highest, then that's what it will take. Okay, notice at this point, you still have the option to not start it. Once you click begin, then that's when it will actually start running for that particular time. So this week, then again, you have intro and you have minerals. This one, notice, is not available to you yet. So next week, when you come back, you will again access Unit 1 because we're still in Unit 1. And next week, you will see the other chapters available on your side. Okay, so you would come back here and finish this off according to the calendar. Then when it's time for the exam, so again, as scheduled in the calendar, then it will show up right here underneath the unit folder, and it will be available for that particular weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You'll also see a folder for your extra credit. Okay, so that's where you would put in the extra credit uploaded as a document or as a PDF. And then we go on to the next unit. Okay, so that's pretty much the format for the class week after week. It doesn't change. Again, here's your main page, which is where you usually open up to course messages to communicate. If I have any announcements, I will send it off. You should also check here, though. It will tell you on the main Blackboard page that there's an announcement, and you should also get it as an email with whatever email you have as your official one with EPCC. So make sure that you're always checking your emails and your announcements for any updates or any news. Here's where you check your My Grades. I don't have one because mine's on Teacher View. So this is where you can check that all your grades are up to date, that everything is as it should. And again, if you see a discrepancy, make sure that you send me a screenshot of your work with your grades so I can take a look at that. So I hope everybody has a great semester. Oh, you know what? Before I forget, also make sure that you are doing pretty much the same thing for your lab. So let's go to the lab. Remember, we were just in the lecture section. You also need to access your lab section. Okay, completely different class. Of course, the topics are the same because it's the lab that accompanies the lecture section, but it will be different assignments. So here's a syllabus, again, kind of the same thing. Go through that. Here's a screenshot that I have to show you what Pearson looks like. So we went into Pearson right now, but what I want you to pay close attention to is that you will need to repeat the registration process for your lab as well. And when you access lecture or lab in Pearson, make sure that you know that you're in which section. So here at the very top of your assignments in Pearson, it will tell you if you're in the 1301 or if you're in the 1101. So each week you will have to access both the lecture and the lab. In this particular example, notice here I'm in the lab section. It's an 1101. And I know the numbers are kind of small on yours. Obviously, you can look at it a little bit better. And also over here, the title tells you that you're in the lab, and then whatever the title is. The titles are going to be very similar to the lecture ones, again, because they're coming out of the same chapter. But you will have assignments in lecture and assignments in lab. So that process that we did to register the lecture section, you will repeat through here so that you create a link to the lab section. Okay, you use the same code, but you do need to repeat the process, okay, for lecture and for lab. And you can again check your grades for both. So this one's in the lab, so you can check your grades right here. Okay, let me know if you have any questions or any concerns. Again, you can message me through Blackboard, you can text me, you can call me, you can drop by my office or set up an appointment. So I hope everybody has a good semester. You know, as long as you keep doing your work every week, then everybody should do great. Okay? Let me know if you have any questions. Bye.